Netflix book club.
Netflix book club.
Yeah, I'm not doing this.
Welcome to Netflix Book Club. My name is Casey Aurora.
I'm Dennis Rooney.
I'm Steve McDonald.
All right, and we also have Neil in the booth. This week we're looking at Bloodsport, directed by Newt Arnold. It is a movie starring Jean-Claude Van Damme. Jean or John? Jean-Claude Van Damme. It's basically 80s martial arts movie at its finest. Jean-Claude Van Damme plays a man in the military who goes on furlough to see his sensei, Senzo Tanaka. And he goes there because Tanaka is dying. And in order to bring great honor to the Tanaka family, Jean-Claude Van Damme, who plays, his character's name is Frank Dukes, will enter the Kumite in Hong Kong, I believe.
And fight to survive.
And fight to survive in this tournament where it is full contact.
Possibly to the death.
To the death, possibly, because people have died in the Kumite before. And Frank Dukes, it's based off a true story, and we'll get into that part as well. But I would say, just a resounding, book it. Yes, watch it, stream it.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Don't hesitate to stream it. This is a good time at the movies, ladies and gentlemen. Don't do this, Steven.
Don't be that guy.
No. Yes, I am going to
Get out.
I am going to resentfully say stream it.
Yes. All right. I'll take it.
I'm gonna say stream it, but I usually don't love the it's kind of terrible, but it's kind of brilliant at the same time.
All right, we'll
so I'm gonna resentfully say stream it.
So watch it. No other way around it. And
Watch
then
it.
we'll take a break, and then we'll let you know all the beautiful, fun-filled things.
Leave the girl alone. He's the American shithead who makes chicks with bricks.
Guess the Kumite starts one day earlier this year, huh, fellas?
Look, guys, let's all just calm down, okay?
She's coming with me upstairs.
No, I'm not.
If we have to fight for her, then both of us would be thrown out of the Kumite. Just for her? We could arrange this another way. Do you gamble?
What is bet?
You hold this. If I can grab it before you close your hand, I get the girl.
And we're back. I'm going to say this was my pick, by the way, as you guys know.
Why did you pick it?
Because this movie is straight out of my childhood. Like, this movie is... I remember watching this movie and going, oh my God, this is how fighting is done.
Who had not seen this movie? Because I hadn't really seen this movie.
I had seen it, but it was a long time ago. It's the same kind of saw it when I was a kid.
Yeah, I thought it was actually part of a different movie. There was multiple genres.
Yeah, you didn't. You guys are.
I was coming to it pretty bare, no experience of it.
Okay, all right, that's good.
You saw this when you were 5?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw this movie several times. Yeah. Well, because just so many things about it,
This explains a lot about you.
Right. So let's just
not only that you saw it when you were 5, but that your parents were the type of people who would allow you to see it when you were 5.
I didn't think anything was wrong with the movie then, and I don't think anything. I mean, sure, a guy gets his leg broken in half and the bone is sticking out, but.
That's tame though by today's standards.
Right, that's very tame. That happened
that's
at
very
the UFC
tame.
event. So
I will admit that I'm just picturing you as a 5-year-old running around your house going Kumite,
right. Jumping from couch to couch, pretending it's all lava. Yeah, seems pretty much accurate. But the movie, getting into it. So it starts off with a montage, just an opening montage.
A really long one.
2/3 of the movie is a montage.
I know.
2/3 of the movie is a montage.
It's incredible, though.
Well, this one's like a flashback montage, though.
Well, no, there's 2 of them. There's the beginning one of everyone training, and you get like an intro of who all the fighters are. And there's some...
Except you don't. You don't get an actual intro.
No.
You get like here's some people.
Yeah.
Look at this guy. This guy jumps around like a monkey. This guy's really tall.
This guy jumps around like a monkey, climbs up a tree, and hits coconuts that have been attached to the tree with ropes.
And I want to say it's the most racist character.
Legitimately, I think one of 2 black characters in the movie, and one of them runs around like a monkey. Yeah.
Both of them are actually highly racist.
I like the one fighter that was just surrounded by white people beating up one black guy.
Yeah, it seemed like a hate crime.
Yeah.
It was just the thing is, he was half unconscious, and they threw him back into the ring. It wasn't really a fight as much as a brutal racial attack. And it was just like, wait a minute, this guy isn't training. He's just beating people up.
He's just John going to the store.
Yeah, mercilessly attacking people. And the black guy who plays the monkey character is jumping around like a monkey, and then attacking coconuts which are stationary.
Yeah.
You know, they're coconuts which are attached to the top side of the tree as
Yeah.
opposed to the underside. So they took
Yeah.
coconuts and attached it to a tree, and that's his attack move, is beating these
Yeah.
coconuts.
Yeah, if you stand still, watch out.
Yeah.
Well, and also he has my favorite thing about that also is that he's supposed to be like he's supposed to obviously be in like an African jungle scenario. There are not trees that make coconuts
Yeah.
in that area of the world. There just aren't.
And then there's a guy who's like a sumo wrestler, takes a heavy bag and throws it to two weak men, and they catch it and fall down. And his only reaction is to laugh at them.
Yeah. These guys, can you imagine being like the sparring partner for these dudes? Like, they're all dicks. They're
Yeah.
go-hards.
This is why they're sending them to the Kumite in hopes they get killed.
Yeah, they hope they die.
Yeah, like, hey man, I hope Johnny gets murdered at the Kumite because I want to see this asshole back here.
Yeah, no one's ever trying to convince any fighter
go
out
to
of
the
it.
Kumite.
Yeah, you should really prove to people how strong you are.
You're very strong.
I don't want to have to train with this dude for another 5 years before the next
Right,
Kumite. Only every 5 years.
So, what's
So wait, there's that flashback, and then there's the flashback of Frank.
Yes, but let me
Yeah.
go into this. So, Frank Dukes comes back to his sensei's house, Senzo Tanaka, and Tanaka. The flashback is triggered when he sees the sword.
Yeah, the 5-minute flashback.
Yes, which I didn't realize until I saw the movie again.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy hell, this is long.
It's a
Very long.
flashback.
So it comes back to two white kids coming into the house, and then I was just like, is one of them supposed to be Frank Dukes? No. Frank Dukes is the third kid who's wearing every sports memorabilia you can have.
Yeah,
Kid
pretty
can't
much.
pick a side.
Yeah.
he's
Can't pick a
got-
team.
He's got the Giants, the San Francisco Giants, and there's also a jersey. I know it's a San Francisco, California jersey. of some
California
sort.
jersey, New York Mets had Muhammad Ali on his back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kid's covering all his bases. You know.
Yeah.
He's just trying to find friends.
Wearing a catcher's mitt.
Yeah. Hey Frank, you like sports? Couldn't tell.
Do
Yeah. I like sports.
This, I like
No,
this sport.
Steven, if you're gonna do it, it has to be slower because his character
His act-
is
yeah.
damn near retarded.
I want to turn.
And he comes in and is like, "Hey Frank, you want to hang with us, right? Come steal this sword." So they come in and they're like messing around with the sword, and then they hear a noise.
Yeah.
The other two kids scram really quickly.
Yeah.
And Frank is just like, "Oh, let me put the sword back in," and he puts this. You know, he's looking at the sword for what really takes most of the montage is him looking at the sword, and then Senzo Tanaka.
That was the best take. It was supposed to be a 10-second put it back.
So he comes in, his Senzo Tanaka comes in and unleashes his son to Frank Dukes.
Oh, yeah.
Who mercilessly beats the hell out of him.
I don't
and
know.
Wants to
One
take
kick.
Yeah, but that's all it takes. And then he wants to beat him up some more. And so then he's like, "No, go back to your studies."
Tiger
Like-
Mom.
Like he was just looking for this break to beat up a white kid. And I don't know if he called him Round Eye then or later on.
was later.
Later on.
So then Tanaka takes the sword and cuts the brim of Frank Dukes' hat off. And he goes, "You didn't flinch." Well, no shit. He's a child, and you're a master of sword work.
Don't forget retarded.
Yeah. So he's like, "Oh, you didn't flinch. You have the fighting spirit."
That's his judge to take somebody on. Just don't flinch.
Like you could have taught a watermelon the same skill because it didn't.
I don't think the
flinch.
Tanaka clan has a real high credibility rate.
No, anybody can learn. So then he gets his parents in. He's like, "Oh, you know, he wants to learn the martial sciences." The father's like, "Martial sciences? I don't know what this is."
What is this martial science?
And
I like that they gave the parents like thick Eastern European accents.
yes,
It's the only way that Jean-Claude Van Damme would have a thick Eastern European accent.
exactly. So he's basically a punching bag for Tanaka's son. And then one day he goes to defend Tanaka, but that's still not enough. When Tanaka's son gets killed, I'm not sure if it was in the Kumite though. Did he die in the Kumite?
They never say no. They never say.
No,
how
they never
he
say.
dies.
Yeah.
I thought he died the year before because the main villain killed somebody in the Kumite the year before.
They
No,
never
no,
say, just like
unrelated.
they really never say what he's on furlough from, that he has to be guarded. Because they were like, we got to protect
Yeah.
you for this thing. It's like, what thing?
Well, furlough is
Yeah.
when someone is close in your family's dying, and then you're allowed to see them before
Right.
they die.
But what he was leaving from, the job,
Yes,
whatever.
Yeah, but they never said why that he needed such close protection. Is what.
Yeah, yeah.
But
They never mention a lot. They don't mention like what section of the military he's in, how
Yeah.
he's able to just go AWOL without it being a huge. Like they just
He
send
just
two
ran
dudes.
out of the
He's in the
He just
special.
runs out of the
base.
base.
He's just in the special needs military.
Yeah, right. They don't
You
say how
need
the
an
kid,
assistant. I'll wait for you. Okay.
Yeah.
They don't say how the kid dies. I don't think they said how Tanaka dies, right?
No,
like
not
what
really.
he's suffering
He's just old.
from.
Yeah.
He's just old and just dying.
And then I think that even he knew that Frank was like slightly slow because he's laying in the bed, and then he's just laying there with his eyes open, and Frank comes in. He's like, "Are you asleep?" And then he responds with, "Who sleeps with their eyes open? Didn't I teach you enough? Like, are you that dumb?"
You're gonna die in the Kumite if you keep this up, man.
So he,
I will say also that if you're listening and you're like, God, this is taking a long time to get through this montage. Yeah, no, it is. This is how long the montage is.
It's legitimately like 12
this
minutes
is
long, I
it's a
think.
really long.
well, it also goes into Frank Dukes' training where he
Just get hits with sticks.
That's the thing
Yeah.
is that usually like a movie will split up the montage of like the flashback thing where it'll be like, I'll
Right.
see the sword. Oh, that's how we met. And then like I talked to Tanaka for a little bit and he's old. And then it's like, do you remember the time when I first started training you? Flashback. A
Right.
little bit of the train. Like, no, this did all of it all at once.
That's what I like about it.
I-
It got out the way.
But I also like the wife of the trainer, who just always looks like she really wants to fuck Frank Dukes.
She did have a wide grin on her face.
She always.
I did upload that picture to Facebook of her just smiling ear to ear. And I'm like, if you don't know who this is, and it's, oh, by the way, Forrest Whitaker makes an appearance in this movie.
yes,
Yeah.
Academy Award winner
Yes.
Forrest Whitaker.
Early on role, he plays one of the guys sent to retrieve Frank Dukes. And he has a very pivotal line when he's like, Mrs. Tanaka, where's Frank Dukes? And she's like, I don't know where he is. Even though he
Come
was
on,
here-
you know where he is.
He was just here 10 minutes ago. So he goes into his training, and then he enters the Kumite. And the Kumite is just... Oh, and then we get another introduction of a fantastic character, Jackson.
God.
Jackson.
Jackson is the
Yeah.
best character in the
That most-
movie.
Hands down?
Hands down the best character
Your
in the movie.
favorite character.
Donald
I want to
Gibb.
see Jackson's
From
movie.
Revenge of the Nerds, Donald Gibb.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. Revenge of the Nerds. He comes in and...
When you first see Jackson, you think he's going to be the antagonist in the film.
Yeah.
You're like, he's being real creepy towards that chick on the bus.
Right.
Van Damme gives him a look and everything.
Yeah.
And then he
Yeah.
meets him at the video game later where he's like, you want to go?
Right.
Like, you're like, oh, this is going to be the dick in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, and they're
Right.
going to fight at the end. No. Jackson has a heart of gold. He gets beat in the video game. He's like, you're all right by me.
Yeah, he's like,
I
aren't you...
love that.
He's like, aren't you...
You're
a
the
little too
fighting
young?
spirit. You want to train with me?
Yeah.
I got Budweiser.
Key
You know-
lines. Aren't you too little young
Yeah, he
for
wears-
the Kumite?
he wears every
Aren't you a
am-
little old for video games?
He wears like he's just like Frank Dukes when he's a kid, just wears every piece to show off how much of American he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Jackson has like every like before Ed Hardy. This is what he's wearing.
Yep.
Like every like
This was the 80s, like, way looser Ed Hardy. Just Harley Davidson.
Yes.
Anything with, like, anything beer or America related.
anything with an eagle on it. he had
Yeah,
on.
totally.
I do love that every 80s movie like this had a biker gang in it.
Yes. Yes.
It's really weird. Like I thought about that while I was watching. I was like, oh yeah, there was a whole period of time where like biker gangs were the bad guys in everything.
right.
Which is surprising that they made him his friend.
yes.
I mean,
I
I don't
think
know
that-
if I don't know if
they're
I'd call him a
foreign land.
biker.
I would say
He
he's a
wears
biker.
Harley
I would say he's
Davidson
a biker.
shirts.
Yeah.
He doesn't ride a motorcycle in the entire film, guys.
I don't think he's
Yeah.
but I don't think when he's back home he's driving a
That's just
Civic.
That was a
because-
look, though. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that was a
That's
look.
Yeah.
that's just because he wasn't able to get a motorcycle in British Hong Kong. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we point out that also it's British Hong Kong?
That's true.
he's a weekend rider. That's all.
He's
it
a,
is.
it's a
Yeah.
hobby, really.
That's
He's
why
a
he didn't-
fighter, man.
That's why he didn't have one. That's why he didn't actually assault the woman on the bus. He just only sexually harassed her on the bus.
Slightly.
He might be the only dude in the Kumite with no combat training at
No,
all.
none whatsoever.
He just
I
he
punched
really
stuff.
is. He's very he has no.
How did he
No
get in?
style.
he just
Like,
gets drunk.
They made Frank Dukes have to prove himself to get fully accepted into the tournament.
Yeah, right.
He did the dim mock, which is
The
the
death
death
punch.
touch, where he's about to in one of the scenes. It's like, oh, you trained under Senzo Tanaka. Show us the dim mock, and he asks, which brick do you want me to break? And break the top one. So he's about to hit it, and they go, stop. And now everyone looks around, turns around, goes, wait a minute, the bottom one. And then he goes
On a pile of
he
a
thinks
big
of
pile.
all his training while a pile of bricks are on top, and he thinks about all his training, and then he slams and shatters the bottom brick. Now, is that actually possible? I don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
But we'll get into that later on when I talk about
With the
Frank
trick
Dukes.
brick, sure.
Yeah,
I could do it with the trick brick.
Everyone could. So he breaks the thing, and everyone's now like, "Oh my god!" And the other guy,
Oh my God, he broke a brick.
yes,
He'll probably win
And
the Kumite.
Jackson being the American it is amazed that anything could be almost as good as him. He's just like, whoa, whoa, y'all see that?
So he breaks a brick with his head and hands each piece to the judges.
But not right then.
No.
It's not right then.
It's the
It's
next-
a while later.
Yeah. Remember how you guys were impressed by my friend and
It's
not
not like,
me?
hey, everybody's gonna be in the Kumite has to break a brick
Yeah.
at some point. The bottom one, the top one, middle. We don't know. We pick. It's like a week later.
He was really
Much of
thinking
the
about
movie
this.
has gone by.
Yeah.
Break the bottom brick, breaks the top one, and then breaks it over his head, hands him rubble, and goes, "That's right, I'm in the fight."
Well, that
You're
And they're
already
like,
in it,
yeah.
Jackson.
when you're in
He's
the
already
Kumite,
fought.
Kumite is invitation only too. So Jackson being the only dude with no formal training, it would seem means he went into his bar
Yeah.
like on a Friday night, and they were like, "Jackson, we got a letter for you."
Yeah, it feels like the Kumite was in a pyramid. He's like, listen, guys, we need a wider audience here, so let's try to reach out beyond the
I
usual
just
spectrum.
imagine where he beat up a guy who was passing by through town and took his invite.
Kumite, I guess I'll go to that.
Yeah, it
He
seems
probably beat up the only woman that was invited to the tournament.
because it's an all-male dominated tournament, which is true. And so,
No, hold on. Before, in all seriousness, no, Jackson, I feel like is a great archetype buddy character.
Yeah, he's
you know what I
amazing.
mean?
Oh,
like
absolutely.
like that type of character makes this movie so much better than if Jean-Claude Van Damme was just on his
They
own.
did no building of anybody though, so
But you
when
knew
they get to
exactly
the
who
end,
they were.
When they get to the end though, and he's like, "I'll do anything for you, brother."
Yeah,
Is that it's
oh,
like,
man.
is that it's like you've been hanging out for a couple days,
Yeah.
and
You
he
won-
fought a guy who beat you in
He
a
was gonna
fight.
fight him anyway, too.
Who he's gonna fight anyways.
Yeah.
It's not like he picked to fight with him.
I got back that shred of your T-shirt. I'll kill someone for you if you need me to.
I'll fight them in the streets. I'll make love to you in the sheets.
Chong Li is the guy who is the main antagonist.
Yeah.
Who killed somebody in the last year's
Yeah.
tournament. He's from South Korea, and I knew he was the antagonist because
He had no lines.
he,
Yeah, he had 6 lines in the whole movie.
I think that's
It
how
was
they.
amazing.
Jean-Claude Van Damme's acting so bad that any villain cannot have lines, or else it'll look
he was
better.
breaking big pieces of ice. This is how I knew he was the villain because
Big
only
pecs.
someone that cold could break ice so quickly. He was just backhand. He would elbow a piece of ice and just destroy it, just demolish it. And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm impressed. I'm down. So
It definitely did have that feel where it was like coconuts, probably an
I
ancillary
like
character.
Yeah, I like his how he celebrates anything, which is inaudible expressions, just
Yeah.
making faces at the
And
camera
threats.
because no one told him their sound being
Also,
recorded.
with the sound mix on the entire movie, did anybody else feel like they were missing a track where he was like, he is actively, you can see him yelling in some capacity
can't
on
hear
the
a thing.
you can't hear him say anything, so it seems like he's just going
Yeah.
like, but with no noise whatsoever.
That's what I was saying. He has no audible. Like it's just nothing there.
But
He
it's
just
not even
celebrates.
like facial expression because he's got certain facial expressions in the entire
Yeah.
thing. But I'm talking where it's like he's like cheering, like they're getting the crowd to cheer for him,
Yeah.
like waving his hands.
No
don't
sound.
think-
No
No
sound.
sound.
No
I don't
sound.
think
That was what was
guy,
hilarious.
I don't think that guy knew he was in a movie.
no.
I think they both fingered it around that guy. Like he really thought he was in a death match tournament.
He just wandered in.
He really thought he was gonna win.
I also thought when I was younger that Chong Li was Tanaka's son and he went rogue. And
That
that's
was
why
what
he's-
that was what I thought it was going to be.
Right. 'Cause-
Like coming into the thing, I assumed that it was going to be that it was like the guy that like the bad guy
Son goes
was the
bad and-
son.
Yes, that's what I thought too. And then the early on the character the monkey character who's the monkey fighting style played by a black guy gets taken out by the sumo wrestler, just basically bear hugged and
Yeah.
crushed to death.
Yeah.
It
And then
felt very Street Fighter. Like all
It
the
did.
characters had like
Yeah.
some sort of.
it definitely had a Street
Dude,
Fighter vibe to
Balzog
it.
was in it. Like the really tall black dude, the only other black dude who wasn't running around like a monkey, was like the boxer from Street Fighter
He was
2.
also
Yeah.
very stereotypical because he had like the voodoo feel to him.
Yeah, he did.
And there was
Yeah.
only 2 ways to play a black character: was very voodoo-esque and very like monkey-like, and it was both
Jesus.
highly racist.
so
Highly
terrible.
racist. Like just
I
as,
like how you're like, that's what they did.
yeah,
that's not my
it's
opinion.
not
That's how
the-
they were doing
Not
it.
the way I would have done racism, but if I were to have done racism, it would have been a little hints of both, notes of both.
All right, so let's talk about obviously this movie is very funny.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
But as a movie, so you have some great characters. Jean-Claude Van Damme's character, very good, like, protagonist. Like,
Yes.
he's charming. He's a nice
he
guy.
saves the
He doesn't
lead
speak
female.
a lot either.
He doesn't speak a
That's
lot.
the whole thing. He just looks like a baby face into the camera. It's like, oh, I guess he's a good guy.
Yeah,
if he spoke
yeah,
too
yeah.
much, you'd be like, ugh.
Yeah.
He saves
Yeah.
the white woman at the bar
Right. And
from the
there's-
Somali pirates, it looks
They were
like.
Somali or Saudi. They seem like
They
they
were
were
Saudi, I
Saudi
think.
I
guys.
think they were like didn't know who they
Yeah.
were.
Yeah. They were just like, give them these weird
Gold
hats.
tooth and a.
They also didn't know they were in a movie.
No.
They were like,
Yeah.
we want that white woman.
Yeah.
It was just at a bar. They shot it at a bar. And Jean-Claude really took a chance. He plays a part where he's just like, okay, all right, let's play a game. You know, we don't want to fight or else get kicked out of the tournament. And the ambiguous Saudi character was like, what is bet? He's like, well, if I can grab this coin out of your hand, the woman is coming with me. If not, you can have her. And then the blonde woman is just like very like, oh my God, I can't believe you're playing for me for a coin. This would never happen in America. Meanwhile, she's in a country she knows nothing about.
First of all, and yeah, it's this fancy upscale white woman in an
Right.
upscale hotel bar being like hit on, pestered by pirate lookalikes.
Yes.
And she's like, at no point is she like, maybe I should just walk away.
Maybe I should
Like-
know my place in this
Well, she does
situation.
try. She
No,
does
I'm
try to
saying-
walk away.
No, she
wow.
should
Just
know.
leave.
Wow.
Yeah, she should.
Wow.
Like, I mean, let's be real. It's the Kumite. It's full contact. You're telling me you can't get hit?
I'm talking, it's in a hotel. It's at a fancy hotel bar.
Right.
If she like starts screaming,
Yeah. They're not allowed to fight outside of the Kumite.
yeah.
but
But let's start confronting guys that are supposed to maybe kill someone.
Exactly.
Like a bunch of fighters. Yeah, I need to make sure to test their nerves.
Right. I
I'm
think
talking about walking away. That's not testing their nerves.
No,
though.
once you stayed though, like not you're walking away, just her like just poking at the guy's
Oh,
nerves. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, she was asking for it.
Yeah.
Not like for like
Also-
rape, but like to get killed. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
by these dudes.
Also, I will say this, and I thought it was interesting, is that they kept bringing up different points throughout the movie that just like you can't fight outside. Like if you fight outside the Kumite, then you'll be disqualified.
Lynn, a secondary character who's assigned to Jackson and Frank Dukes to take care of them, has like warned them of that several
Yeah.
times.
yeah, who was
He
also a
warns
great
them of that.
character.
He warns them of that several. He's a terrible character.
He's a great
He's
character.
fantastic.
no background on him. He's awful.
He's comic relief. He's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
playing like
Nonetheless, he multiple times tells them that they'll get kicked out of the tournament if they fight outside of the tournament, and then they fight outside of the tournament multiple times.
How
when
so?
do they do?
When?
Do they really?
When they're trying to run away from the police, and when they're trying to like.
Well, wait. I thought they couldn't fight each other
They
outside
can't
of
fight
the
each
tournament.
other.
They don't stipulate that. They just say don't fight.
Yeah.
I wonder what the. Are you positive? I want to go
don't-
back
yeah.
and hear that line.
I
'Cause I
would-
remember the line.
I would
where-
almost let me
What's
put it
that?
this way with this movie. I would almost assume that they just ambiguously left it somewhere because the majority of the movie was just ambiguously left
That's-
somewhere.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, we're running out of time, but underrated characters when they're like, oh, these guys are from America, and the one dude goes, okay, USA,
Yeah.
and gives them the thumbs up.
Yeah.
Oh God.
They
The
also
best-
had weird
the
little
best-
side plots
Wait,
with people.
the best actor in the movie was Frank Duke's handler.
Yeah,
That was the
yeah.
best actor in
He
the
was
whole
good.
movie.
Lynn was the
Everyone
best.
else felt like they got given their lines right before the camera turned
Very
on.
true.
that
Lin-
dude lived that role.
Yeah, yeah.
He
He's like-
did. He's like, I've been handling tourists all my life.
You know, Lin went to the Hong Kong School of Dramatic Arts. You know, he studied and he did a lot of research. He embodied
He got whipped at the School of Arts.
pretty much. So it goes into Jackson gets beaten up severely
By Chong Li
by
because-
Chong Li because he ignores the left knee, which is a deadly part of Chong Li's barrage of assault, and he gets beaten up. Chong Li wears his Jackson's headband.
Well, hold on. I just want to point out, Jackson was going to win the thing.
He
Jackson
was.
had him.
He had the
Yeah.
tournament.
My
He did.
man Jackson was
Right.
going to win this whole tournament, but then
Yeah.
he showboated, which was very Jackson-like.
Pretty much.
Very American.
Very
like.
American. Yes,
I
very
must say
true.
this though is that Frank Dukes, when he's fighting in the tournament, is literally beating everyone left. Like it would have been a better match to see Jackson versus Frank Dukes
I would have liked to have seen that.
instead of Chong Li, because Chong Li cheats and throws like some sort
He's got a
of
Rolade and he crushes
like
it
an
up in his hand.
Alka-Seltzer.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense.
And I don't understand why the trainer felt like, hey, listen, you're gonna need this Alka-Seltzer, and just throws it in Frank Dukes' face, and now Frank Dukes is blinded. But if we remember the montage, if we can recall the montage,
Remember the first half of the movie?
when he learns to fight blindfolded and serve tea blindfolded and catch fish pretty much blindfolded, He's able to beat Chong Li, and you know that's you know the ending is there. He beats Chong Li and wins the tournament, and he does it for Senzo for Senzo Tanaka. And that's the problem is I really wish I could have seen an ending where Frank Dukes takes on Jackson. And you know the thing is that I want to talk about real quick is that supposedly Frank Dukes is a giant fraud. That there is no Kumite that he fought in. That he doesn't have the world record for fastest kick. That all these are all bullshit records.
It's amazing records.
Came out
hilarious.
Yeah, what's that expose that came out like a few months after the movie was released by the LA Times or something like that?
The LA Times said that the address for the Kumite was his house.
Yes.
That was his house.
And that he actually there is no Tanaka that he trained under.
Well,
that it was all just one giant lie, which I choose to not believe.
Well, there's debate about that too, because they're saying that they did train with him, and one of the things that was not true was how he met him, which was the breaking into stuff like that. But he said he did train with him, but he found that disrespectful. He was apparently born handicapped.
That's not a surprise.
Yeah, it's
not a surprise. When you see
Mentally handicapped, right?
Frank
So we're
Dukes'
clear.
character, you know, and then Frank Dukes starts his own style of training.
Ninjutsu Ryu.
Yeah, Dukes Ryu.
Dukes Ryu.
Dukes
Also
Ryu.
a character from Street Fighter.
Ryu is a character from Street Fighter. And then it was just, I was like, you know, this really just seems like one giant marketing technique.
For Tiger Schulman's karate.
For Dukes Ryu. For Dukes Ryu. And it was just like, okay, he wins the tournament, he goes back, he sleeps with the woman, the reporter.
He leaves her too, by the way, which I thought was strange.
It was just a one-night stand.
It's a one-night stand, really, with some reporter.
Yeah, and then all you get to see is Jean-Claude Van Damme's ass, and he puts on tidy red underwear.
I totally forgot about that scene. That scene was hysterical.
Yeah, and he's doing the split on the balcony for really just nonsensical scenes patched together.
Yeah, that was my
make one
biggest
amazing
problem with the
movie.
entire movie was that it was just nonsensical scenes.
But it was
patched together.
good nonsensical scenes.
I need to bring this up because I was just looking up IMDb because I wanted to see what the guy who played Lin, who played Victor Lin, because that's the guy's that's the character's name, the handler.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to see if he'd been in anything else.
No.
First off, if you have not at this moment, go and look on IMDb at Donald Gibb, who plays Ray Jackson, because the picture of him now is amazing.
He looks like a biker full.
He looks like a biker, like an old school biker.
Right.
But Victor Lin was played by Ken Siu, who was actually the second assistant director.
That's fantastic.
That's incredible. He was handling the director.
He was the second assistant director,
no.
which means that they just didn't have somebody to play that role, and so he just like popped in and was like, "I can do this.
I can do this role."
It was made for less than $1 million. I think Dukes had to do most of the
I got
choreography for
1.5
it, which
million.
was
He went on
I
to
got
do-
1.5 million. That's
He
what I
went-
got in my research.
Well,
He
I got
went
1
on
million.
to be the
I
first
don't know.
assistant director for a bunch of other movies, including the assistant director for Rush Hour, for their Hong Kong shoots.
Good for him.
See what I mean?
It's hilarious
he's
to me
making-
though,
Also-
because you guys are like, he's the best actor in the entire thing. Assistant director on the movie who's stepping in because like, we just couldn't find an actor for very
just
much
lets
money.
us know we know nothing about.
It's
acting.
literally when he's like, he's just like, when you need something done right, you gotta do it yourself.
Yeah.
I didn't look it up, but I'm almost positive too that the Asian banker in The Dark Knight is in this movie real quick at the beginning. And if it's
Wouldn't
not, I
be
guess
surprised.
I'm racist. But I'm almost positive it's
What
him.
Asian banker?
Mr.
The
I
guy
forget
who
what
the guy who backs Frank Dukes in terms of financial.
He's
stuff?
very good with calculations.
Yeah. Okay, that guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
You think he's in The Dark Knight?
I'm almost positive that actor is in this movie up front. I didn't check it out. I
You
shouldn't
know
have brought
what?
it up.
That's-
Yeah, you
Go
should have
see
brought
this
it up.
movie.
Just like the racism of the movie, we'll just assume,
We'll just let it
yeah, we'll just assume. All right,
float
so
into the
We'll
ether.
say stream it, all around stream it,
Heavy stream it.
heavy stream it.
And what's for next
Stream
week?
it. Next week we're gonna watch In Bruges.
Okay. All right, well that about wraps it up, and be sure to check out NetflixBookClub.com. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Bye.